What's up, guys, and welcome back. As you know, there's a couple of archetypes in Marvel Snap that there's not a lot of room to shove other cards in there. It's been the same list for a while because, well, the list works. And there's none other that represents this than Dependable Discard. You guys have seen this list before. It's done exactly what the name is. It's dependable, and it's most dependable after we go through some giant nerf patches like we just had last Thursday. Now, it's been a while since I've done an update to the deck because we have a lot of new players like Dawkin, updates to cards like Blade and Hellcow. So we're going to break down the most reliable way to play this deck that's doing fantastic in the new meta. Now, the pros, as you know, to the deck is you know exactly what you're going to get, almost to a science. You know the numbers and what you need to do. It's very straightforward and easy to play, with the con of that as always being, so does your opponent. Your opponent knows what is going on. The Dracula is not going to surprise them anymore. So that is going to be the biggest con of the deck. But also a huge pro is it's a very hard deck with very limiting cards to counter it. And that is why so many people elect to play it. Now, the first thing I want to do is let's look at all 12 cards and let's identify our main kind of champion win condition cards. Which of these cards are going to win a lane by themselves? So Dracula, obviously, you know by now, this guy is capable of going tall enough to win just about any lane by himself. And the other being Morbius and MODOK, typically played together. But now we've got a Hellcow with 8 power to the name, and that's obviously pretty good. Also, she's great. She gets rid of 2 cards. That's exactly what we want to do. 8 power is awesome for Dracula, but also just presence on the board. And then on top of that, she's a good backup plan. Oftentimes, you're not going to play Hellcow, and that's okay. You're going to want to try to play MODOK when possible. He's obviously your biggest win condition. You don't want to play Hellcow and risk getting rid of MODOK, and so he's typically the safer play on turn 5. Now, obviously, Apocalypse and Chavez fuel the rest of the deck, and Lady Sif is going to be getting up our Apocalypse as well. So that leaves the rest of these cards as kind of filler. These are going to be somewhat your flexible options. I can tell you right now, the 12 that you're looking at are going to be the best 12 in consideration of win rate and just overall cube gain. So that leaves a couple flex options. Wolverine is the first one that I typically flex out. It can be great with MODOK for a free 4 power play. Wolverine, Swarm, and Calling Wing for your key replaceable cards. And there's tons of different ones that you can slot in to remain unpredictable, but also keep the deck engine running as it should. Obviously, the first thing that comes to mind is if you want to plug in any tech card in any of these spots that I just listed, of a deck that's just giving you a lot of trouble. Maybe you need Cosmo in your deck. Maybe you need Shadow King because a lot of our cards don't suffer from Shadow King. Whatever it might be, you can definitely plug in a tech card here. But some other cards that I like to plug in there are some combo cards, right? Black Knight, Ghost Rider makes a lot of sense. We do have some more top-heavy power cards like Hellcow, MODOK, and APOC that you can use the Black Knight for, and it has some good curve. But also, guys, Nico Minoru is awesome in discard. She's good in any deck, but in discard, you can sacrifice your Wolverine. You can sacrifice one of your free swarms and get nothing but profit. Maybe you want to draw extra cards to discard with MODOK. Maybe you want to make a copy of your Dracula, and then you play MODOK, leaving your APOC to discard twice. Nico has a lot of value turning things into demon that already kind of discard and do their role. Flat out, she has versatility, and that's kind of what's the best part about her and the kit. And so Nico fits in greatly here. Now, Storm saw a lot of play in discard before move decks and Jeff kind of came into the game. But with the recent nerfs, we're going to see less move decks. And so I think Storm can finally have a nice spot in discard once again. Finishing off the Storm lane with Dawkin or Dracula, even Hellcow. It's a tough line to beat, especially if you have Morbius or these free swarms to just throw on the Storm lane. And then Dracula, you know, can win the other if you didn't place him there. And then some other cheeky options. Obviously, you can go with Wong. I think Wong actually works in this deck because you can get Dawkin multiple shards. You can do MODOK a couple times. Maybe throw in the Collector in there with him. And then just Hela. I know a lot of people think Hela is there just for the miracle plays, but she has simple value to her name, putting out 6 power and oftentimes at least reviving 1 card that was discarded. That definitely makes up for the 6 cost tag to her name, and depending if you're running low on options, she can definitely be great to plug in there. Now let's go to make sure you guys know how to pilot the Dependable discard. So let's talk the play lines, all right? So the first couple of turns, we've got cards in flex like Nico or Blade that can be played. Most of the time, you do not want to play Blade this early, but if APOC is in the far right spot, or maybe Swarm, then it is a good time to play Blade. Wolverine is typically not worth discarding with Blade if you do have MODOK, as that is just a free play, and you decide to go with that version of the deck. Now, turn 2 should almost always be Morbius. You could also do the Calling Wing if you do have the Swarm set up as well. But for the most part, the beginning stages of discard is kind of chill. You're setting up your late game. You're making sure all of your lanes are set up and you know exactly which lanes you want to attack and play your Dracula and Morbius on. Now, turn 3 is usually the turn that you can really decide what you want to do. You can play a 1-drop and a 2-drop. You can play Storm to shut down a lane if that was a flex option. Playing Dakin right here could be a good idea, although I love playing Dakin on turn 4 alongside Blade as his token generates on the right side of the hand. Lady Sif, if you have APOC in hand, is never a bad decision. I would prioritize that if you have Dracula in hand as well, because that's the main use of getting that Apocalypse up as high as possible. But, you know, certainly you can use that for other reasons, but usually I prioritize other things to get done if Lady Sif's on 3. Now, as always, guys, say it with me. Dracula is always the play on turn 4 most of the time. Either to follow up your Storm, place him in a lane that your opponent is really fighting for. Now, Hellcow is typically not played on turn 4 unless you have a hand that is ready to go, right? Wolverine, maybe Doc and Shard. You don't want to risk playing down Hellcow if MODOK is in your hand as well, because we know most of the time we just want a MODOK on 5. If it's your only play, you can think about it looking at what your opponent has down, what you have down, and what consists of your last few turns of the game. Now, again, turn 5, pretty much always going to be MODOK, but you can play a Lady Sif and a 2-drop here if you pulled Morbius late. Maybe Nico and Dracula, Nico and Hellcow, depending on your situation and hand. And then on turn 6, it's pretty much always one thing, and that's going to be, what do you play Chavez so that your Dracula can absorb the Apocalypse? Now, I do want to say one thing. You don't always have to have Dracula get Apocalypse. Sometimes the threat of him is enough, and America Chavez 9 can be enough to win that lane, and you play down your 20+ power Apocalypse. Now, we're going to go ahead and jump into Gold Conquest with this exact version of the deck. Again, keep in mind, you can always mix things up and go with flexible spots, but it's dependable for a reason. You are going to have the best win percentage, and so if you're doing ladder, this is going to be the deck you want to try. If you're doing Conquest and want to keep your opponent guessing, then maybe you want to try something a little bit different. Either way, right now, the stats on this post all the crazy Nerf apocalypse of the meta is ridiculous. I mean, we're talking the best right now currently for raw stats in win rate. So we're going to go ahead and take it into Gold Conquest. Let's jump in. It's just crazy to me. Some decks just never change too much fundamentally, and they stay really competitive. Riddle Me Chris, bit smelly, but otherwise fine. What a title. All right, so we've got Dark Dimension. Kind of love that for discard. We have Morbius, Wolverine, Dakin, Apocalypse. And so long as we are not going against a freaking Destroy deck, we should be good with Nidavellir here in the middle. Isle of Silence right side, and let's start cooking, guys. I think what we'll do is we can go potentially Dakin over here is not a bad idea. We kind of give away what we're doing if we do that, though, so maybe we just go here instead. I think I like that a bit better. We're going to snap, too. If we are playing a Destroyer deck, but she's snapping, we could be, then, you know, it is what it is, but we want to snap before we get out there, and Riddle Me Chris is giving us the fist. Let's give it right back. If we see Destroy, though, it's over. Okay? He's waving out right now. Okay, interesting. We could play our APOC. Yippee-dee. I think if we had MODOK, that would have been sweet. It's a good MODOK hand here. But let's go ahead and play down both Blade and Calling Wing. We can get just a ridiculous amount of Swarms. I guess we could also play Calling Wing to discard this, and then we do the Blade. That's also a choice so that we don't completely screw ourselves with our hand here. All right, he goes Sandman, so all of these Blades are just chilling. We got a Sandman gamer. It's a good thing we didn't get all the Swarms. But the good thing is we have a ton of different plays. Our Mobius is already set down. And at this point, we're winning right side. Middle, we can take over. And then our Wolverine's going to hop too. So we definitely like our chances here.
Enough said, bub.
He goes middle. That's great. We got the APOC, and we're cooking right now. Sandman is going to make an appearance back, right? Like, Sandman is definitely getting more popular, but we don't have to worry. APOC right side's probably the play to go with here. He might Goliath. This could be a Goliath too. Don't really know, but we're playing for 8 cubes. He is full sinning it. I cannot believe it. That's 12. That's Hobgoblin. Dude, is this Galactus? That'd be sick. Now, that is so cool. The only small problem here that I think old Riddle Chris is forgetting is that we have Wolverine that's just gonna win the game for us. I don't know if he forgot that or what happened. And on top of that, Wolverine's also gonna be a little bit beefier than that. What a game! Yo, you gotta respect Chris for being one of the few people still trying to make Galactus happen. But there you go. That's awesome, man. That's awesome. And he's out. He's like, he tried this one trick and he's like, all right, I'm done. I'm going to bed. All right, let's go into battle number 2, straight into it. All right, we got our Loki opponent. You just know this guy's playing Loki, right? And this is we hope he's playing Loki with the deck that we've got. We play Loki fantastically with our options at hand. All right, so let's go and skip the first turn here. We have Maria Hill. There's the Loki. The guy's having the avatar. You know, with the avatar, he's got to be playing Loki. Again, he's going to hate it. Not a lot he can do with what we have in store. He's snapping. We have APOC and MODOK. We will gladly, guys, absolutely gladly snap back. Let's get the Morbius down now. He's snapping because he got Collector. You know, maybe he got whatever. We're not worried about it. Here's the Collector. Let's see if he truly Loki's. I think he's seeing the discard now. He's a little bit worried. We've got Asgard for the right. Very good location. Definitely want to try to win this now. Let's go and play the Lady Sif to add a little bit of juice. And we have the APOC too. Issue is, though, the Dracula, right? So let's see here. Nice. We can definitely give up this right lane if we need to. We can go Calling Wind. That puts 9. But we won't get the Dracula play down necessarily, which is kind of a weird, awkward play. Do we care, though, right? Like, this gets us more cards to discard with MODOK later, and we have this free swarms that we can build up over here. That's probably the play. And then we can always do Dracula later. This is a bit of a weird one, but I think this is what we're going to end up doing. Let's see. If he can beat 9, good on him, but I don't know if he will. He doesn't even try. He goes with just the straight-up Hawk, which is fine too. So he's gonna have to Loki next turn, and I don't know what's his plan is. All right, and then we have the Hell Cow. So we can play both these down, and then what we can just do, guys, is keep it very simple. Is we play our Dracula right now. MODOK's gonna go in this left lane, most likely. We could put Dracula over here, kind of keep him confused. We could also put a little pressure here in the middle, but we're thinking this is just gonna be the play. Okay, he goes Rogue on the Morbius. What a pain in the ass, huh? There's the Swarm. There's another Swarm. All right. So my guess is, guys, completely, he's going to avoid this lane over here, right? Like 100%. Do we just put in the APOC and win? He might move this Jeff. We have all good cards that we can discard here as well. This is crazy. We're going for 8 here. Domino. 3 cards in hand. Yo, guys. That's exactly how you play a Loki player. Even with all of our counters.
Victory.
Even with them all, we're good to go. What a way to play. Now, he obviously could have moved that and played the domino here and still would have lost. But yeah, we just read this guy and what he was going to do. But even then, like, usually your rogue is not going to happen. You're not going to have a weird Asgard decision. The Loki battles are a bit more straightforward. But it's still cool to see what it does against the Loki there, huh? All right, we got round 2.
Opponent snapped.
And yeah, he's going right into the snap here.
Snap.
Oh, man, it feels good. I like Loki. I do right now. He's so good that it feels good to beat it with the Dependable discard. All right, here goes Quinjet. Oh boy, Elise seems pretty good for this guy. Let's go to this. We don't want to do anything else yet. We really don't need White Hot Room as much as he does. All right. Yeah, so this to... it's a bit awkward because we don't want to give this up, right? Is this even worth it though? Probably not. We get a lot of energy, but you know, is that good? I'm not sure. He's gonna have it though, so we're gonna have to somewhat be careful. Let's just do it. Why not? Nice, we took it from him. And we have like a layer of something in there. He probably could just rogue, but it's nice to fill that out. Especially in a time like this, right? So we go Dracula to probably just Dracula to Lady Sif. The next turn we can go like Hellcow and a craziness too, right? And just build this guy up to 1 billion and beyond. And we just start stacking up this right side. I guess we already know this won't affect us too much either. So we can do this. There's the rogue. Hello. All right, he's not going to want to go against my Dracula there. And nice. All right, cool. We'll play both these down now, put it up to a decent level. That's 9. That's a good amount of power. He can't even play in this lane if he wanted to, and we're going to get this guy down another pretty good percentage point. He's playing APOC as his last desperation. And then the best part is, guys, we get the Chavez on top, right? Gotta love it. So, yep, we're just gonna go American Chavez there. He's probably gonna try to push that as high as he could, as high as he can, but it's gonna be 24. Don't think he has it in it, and this is just clear cut, man. Clear cut, pretty sick. Pretty sick. Just a great deck to counter Loki, guys. He's gonna try. Giving his damnedest. Is this a blade? Does he get the blade? Okay. Smooth. The Dracula. Big play. Yeah, that was a sick play. That was actually pretty sick, I'm not gonna lie. Bam. We go 20 as 2 cards. Which one does it take for him? Yeah. Nice. There we go. That's how you take down a Loki player who's advertising he's playing Loki. We'll give him the fist bump, move on, and go on to the next battle. Really good stuff there, though. Would love to go against like a Shuri deck here. Any other meta decks just to go head-to-head. We got Savage Land. He's snapping off the bat, so maybe he Doc Coma here's got a Patriot deck, I guess. I don't know what this guy's doing. Maybe a Toxic deck, too? Why would you snap on Savage Land? Beats me. Sakar is, what I would like to say, pretty damn bad. We're not going to play anything, and we're going to hope Lady Sif doesn't play down. All right, it's Blade. He goes Werewolf, which is interesting because he doesn't have a lot of space there. He's playing the Loki Werewolf deck. This is the tough version as well. Yeah, oh my god. That's just bad luck. All right, that's fine. What did he lose? He lost Snow Guard. Okay. Let's get Calling Wing here in the middle. We just have to make sure that we get ourselves a Dracula and or Morbius, and I think we can beat this guy. All right, he's going Nico. I believe that's not the copy, is it? Yeah, it is the copy. That's a good one to have there. Maybe he plays the Loki. I don't know. Dracula's huge for us here, so we can play that left side. Still, we're going to play nothing else yet. Dracula would be going against the Collector. That's fine. Go against his best lane. He gets the copy of the Loki. He only has 2 cards in hand, though, and they're discard. So that's not going to be all that great. We need to get... Not that. Man, that sucks. Okay. So, really, we're just going to play MODOK. This is going to be 9 power. And then we play down a ton of these guys, right? Like, that's the whole goal. So I think we push a good amount of our points over here. We could also stack high here, right? Let's do that. So we can abandon ship completely over there. That's one way. I don't think we're going to win, though. I don't know if we have enough juice to go up against this deck, right? We've got 12, 15, 18 here. Not bad. He can't hop the werewolf over here, which is kind of nice. But other than that, he's got a lot of ammunition against us. And this is not going to be enough to beat it. So we do have to get out of this. First one here. Really bad luck. We had the Blade get rid of a Lady Sif. We didn't get the APOC. And then, you know, top it off with just having ourselves a little bit of bad luck there. Let's just take it next round here. We got Wakanda Embassy. Wish we would have had the swarms in hand, but we don't. We do have Dawkin, though. He can go up to 12, which is nice. He's snapping. That's fine with us. We got the MODOK. We got the Hellcow. 2 big power cards. And now we just need ourselves the Dracula APOC. He does have Shang-Chi in this version of the deck, most likely. Pretty easy to net deck these players. And we got Wolverine in hand. Gonna play nothing still. He goes Collector. Oh, come on. Just ridiculous. He lost Maria Hill. That's a bummer. You gotta be kidding me. All right, let's attack him head on here and go after this middle lane. +2 on that? Yeah. The Sentinel does not come back with +2, though, so we don't have to worry about that. Turn 4, we have the Swarm. Don't hate this. I know. This just kind of sucks, though. We're not going to get rid of the Swarm there, but we can on the next play, which is fine. And then just continue to put power here. That's probably the play. He's definitely going to want to win this middle location, and we're just not going to let it happen. Okay, so we did get the Blade, but we're going to play our MODOK. I think what we do is we rely on... Do we need the MODOK here is number 1? Because this will be 12. We'll have 15. We'll have 18 power in the lane of our choice. Yeah, I like that. And then we just make this unbeatable, right? Like, he may double down here, and we just make it impossible for him to win.
Oh, snap.
We're going to snap on this, too. He could Shang-Chi us. Shuri. Into Nico. Created by Agent 13. My God, what does that look? All right, so we should be beating this lane. We got the Chavez there. So we could go... He just has to flip this lane. And can he do it? I don't know. Right side, we've got those two. Does he think we go for the weaker lane? Not sure. This is only 18. He only has to put up 9 here. Not that much. We just have to guess the lane he's going. And this is tough. This is a tough win either way. Tough beat. He gets a demon out of the next card he plays as well. Only has to put 8 here, but he thinks we go for the lower lane. We're gonna play this. We're gonna play this one out. Guys, I gotta tell you how good it feels when you just totally 5-head it. Now, I do think we easily could have beaten this guy over the course of battles of attrition, but we are on a time crunch. We went after it. You had the 50-50 split decision. Would have lost by 1 right there, which would have sucked. But we attacked aggressively the collector lane. He doesn't want any of it. Back to back. We got a couple Lokis down. Feels good with the reliable discard. Now, we obviously had these plays come down to for me, educated guesses, but also just knowing where they're going to play. But overall, they don't have a lot to do with your cards. They can't do much, and you can just build up high on the lane that they need to win. And that does it. We, in fact, get another Infinity ticket in our hands, and that is how you play the new Dependable discard, right? You have Hellcow as an option. You don't always play, but it's nice there to have, and definitely just fits into the deck and what it wants to do. You just have to remember how it all plays out and, really go all in on the hands that you think you can win. Hopefully you guys enjoyed today's video. Remember, play this now. This is the best time to play while people are figuring out the meta. If you guys have any questions, drop them down below. And if you haven't subscribed, go ahead and do that too. You guys have a good one. Have a great one. Until the next one, happy snap.